some really important things. Didn't hear a word of it.
It's rocking.
The crowd is ready to roll. The commissioner is heading to the podium. It's time to get this party started.
Good evening. All right, well, Mr. Commissioner, thank you for joining us tonight. Oh, I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my notes.
Mm-hmm. I know. Bronny, baby, I know. LeBron, relax, okay? Call Dougie P or call Jerry. I know you can play tight end, but there's nothing I can do for you. I know. Yep, me, you, Miley, Tiddlywinks, 8 o'clock, 2 weeks from today. We're still on. I know. Okay. Big kisses. Mwah. Oh, what were you? Who's this? What do we say? Is this interview started yet? I'm burning daylight.
Sir, I apologize again. I appreciate you giving us your precious time here. We just, as the league, we just wanted to, get to know you a little better, get your personal input on some of these matchups, and just get you some FaceTime out there.
Okay.
So we appreciate it, and we will use your time wisely.
Well, you're not off to a great start, but go on.
Story of my life. Now, let's start with our top players of the week. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Despite the fact that you sent me a note that you scored 900 touchdowns, both rushing, receiving, and throwing, I'm afraid I can't take those official stats into account here. I just got to go off ESPN.
So I officially said it.
Well, you take it up with ESPN. I got to go with what they say.
Those clowns.
I know. Well, hey, didn't we already know that? All right. So top quarterback this week, Josh Allen, 66 points, and then Mahomes with 61 for Randall and me. Randall actually had Josh Allen on the bench, but it didn't matter because he had Kyler who got 60. So good all around there.
5'1.5", tearing it up.
Top running backs were Dalvin Cook for Nate and McCaffrey for Jose at 39 and 37 points.
Can I just interrupt real quickly? We need to put a steaming halt to this hashtag or trademark Let Russ Cook, and I think we need to change it to Let Dalvin Cook.
Cool. I would be behind that because that man is cooking.
I got 1 million of them.
They
don't call me Commish for nothing.
What, $50 million or something a year for?
No, it doesn't even matter. I'm made of money.
We can tell by the hat, the stylish apparel there.
Oh, my golf hats.
But outside of those top running backs, we talked about it. The next highest were under 20 points, and it was like Balaj and McKissick. So, bit of a weird week for running backs there.
Yeah. C-Max down again. Not a great time to be a Christian McCaffrey owner.
It is not. Wide receivers, another weird week. Top scorer was Richie James, the only healthy person on San Francisco, who had 33.4 points. And then you, sir, you had Devontae Adams, who had 33.3 points.
Yep.
A little bit below, almost at number one spots. Tight ends, again, Travis Kelce got Arias almost 26 points, and I'm sure Arias probably wasn't happy with that and wished he got 40.
Ungrateful.
Yeah. And then next was Jimmy Grandpa, 17.5 on the waiver wire.
On the waiver wire. We are not good at this.
We are not. Well, yeah, no, we're not. Top flexes, Tyreek Hill got Neal 33 points, and Jacoby Myers got almost 30 points, also on the waiver wire, because, the Jets can't play defense.
Catching those breakfast balls from Cam Washed Up Newton.
Apparently he caught a lot of them. Top defenses, the Saints, who somehow held Tom Brady to 3 points, got 16, and Baltimore got Arias 13. I think they scored another touchdown or something, or at least we're close.
Shout out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense for -1.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's what it was. That Baltimore did score a touchdown because Phillip Rivers didn't quite make that tackle.
Can we put a pause in this? Can you edit this out?
Yes, I can. Oh, hi, Jet. Sorry, I'll go fast.
No, we don't have to go fast. Okay, we're good.
Okay. And we're back. Wait, where were we? Oh, yeah, we're talking about Phillip Rivers making that tackle. And back. Hold on. Just get this out again. And go. So, yeah, they did that. Kickers were Greg Zerloin, who almost single-handedly beat the Steelers, and Nick Folk. Those got 15 on the waiver wire. Looking at our spreadsheet, Steve, you still lead 16 top players. Next closest is 12 for Tom, and at the bottom of the barrel is Ryan with 4. Bit of a wealth disparity. Though by far and away the leader is the waiver wire with 41 top players on the year. And actually, you're still getting beat by the bench. The bench has 17, so
right.
You gotta have a word with the bench. Maybe send out a fine or something there. I don't know.
I think I'm gonna have to
surrender some picks.
That's a 6-game suspension minimum.
Nobody has a bench for the rest of the season. Get rid of it.
The only one who gets suspended more than that bench is Tom Brady.
Did you suspend him this week? Because it really looked like it.
Yeah, I suspended his right arm.
Ooh, dang. All right. Let's go ahead and go through our matchups here and check out the weekly results. Disclaimer here. Nobody has clinched the playoffs or is out of the playoffs just yet. It could happen next week, but as of right now, everybody is still in the hunt.
Which is really remarkable. There's enough level-headed mediocrity throughout this league to keep it close. 10 weeks into the NFL season.
There is. Even in your division, that's real split. It's still close. So we'll go ahead, like always. We'll start at the bottom, and we'll see a familiar face here in Nate. Nate, very similar to the Lions, you are still at the bottom. You had a total of 3 players who scored less than 3 points, so that is not looking ideal. If you want any hope in making the playoffs, you have to win out, and you're going to need some help. I'm not betting on it. I don't have much good things to say. Maybe try trading some players for draft picks next year if anybody would actually remember to do that here. I doubt we would. But it's worth a shot.
Nate has done to his team what Matt Patricia has done to the actual Lions.
That is not wrong. We should probably fire both of them next year.
Agreed.
Nate, I'll talk to Jenna. I think it might be time for her to step in as the manager. So good luck, buddy. I just don't see it. Not much to say there. And you're even wasting Dalvin Cook. You're literally like the Vikings too. You're getting these great weeks out of Dalvin, and you're just wasting them. It's just, yeah.
We got Megatron 2.0. You were going to run him into the ground.
Just not right. Commissioner, can we just take him off his team and just for the good of the league?
I'll make some calls.
Okay. Appreciate it. All right. Coming in at 9th would be Ryan. Ryan, I'm giving you props again, bud. You are still not in last. And that is, again,
dumb idiot Ryan who beat me.
I think there's some resentment still over his one loss that hasn't clinched him the playoffs yet. Ryan, this is still way more wins than any of us gave you credit for, so good on you. Your team has some upside. Unfortunately, Frank Gore didn't get you that 50 points you needed last night, but, it was not close. But
Frank Gore might be 87 years old, but he runs like he's a brisk 63. I tell you what.
63 is almost how many points he got. Or 6.3, I should say.
Oof.
But let's look at the good things. You got Michael Thomas back, and they didn't even really need him in that game, but he still got 10, so that's good. Mike Davis, McCaffrey got hurt again. Kill me because I have him in another league. So he could still be good. Christian Kirk is all of a sudden on fire. And, of course, you have the best receiver in football in Travis Fulgham. So there's still hope here. There is still hope. Steve, what do you think?
Ryan, the outlook doesn't look great, but you know what? It didn't look great from the time you started this. And gosh darn it, you're 3 wins into this season. I tell you what, there are a lot of things in this world I don't understand. Why is the election not done? Why am I growing this piss-poor excuse for a mustache? And why in Sam Hick is Alex Smith throwing the football? I tell you what, that guy's got more moxie than I know what to do with. But I tell you what, Ryan, you are not a quitter. Gosh dang it.
That is the greatest speech I've ever heard. Brian, if that doesn't spur you on to at least one more win, well, we'll all expect it. But it's been good so far, bud, and I hope you keep going. And seeing as you're still in the shitty side of the playoffs, you could still easily make it in. You are by far not out of it at all yet. All right, coming in third, we've got Dave. Dave, this is a bit of a course correction for you. But before we talk about that, I think you know what's coming. It's the shame hat this week, Dave. I'm
gonna take my hat off, so there's only one hat for this.
This is Dave. Your 65.9 points were by far the lowest scored all season, almost by 20 points. The next lowest was, I believe, 85. There is not much to dissect here. You had a total of 3 players. Counting your bench, 4 players get above double digits. And that's just bad. Your entire team scored less than Josh Allen did this week.
Rough day, buddy.
If Randall had played him, he could have played 0 other people. Now, it's not all your fault. Corey Davis got 0 out of nowhere. Brady, well, Steve suspended Brady's arm, so that kind of makes sense.
That one might be on me.
But it is just not looking good. You're still not out, still potential, but all I have written down is God help you if you want to make the playoffs.
Not looking good.
Not looking good.
Maybe another team name. The team name switch might be in order. Might get you guys on the right path.
I mean, Dave, I kind of want you to keep playing Brady because every time you do, he's awful. So which is without fail. So if you could just keep doing that, we as just football viewers would appreciate it. But yeah, it's looking rough. Coming in fourth to last, which would put us at 7th, is a little bit of a weird one to this spot is Tom. I don't think Tom's been this low ever in the season. This team isn't necessarily bad, but they just aren't really good either. Very middle of the road. Hopefully Chubb gets back this weekend because the running back situation is not great. All your receivers are underperforming. It's just a weird. I don't really know I don't have too much to say about your team. Steve, you got anything? It's just kind of middle of the road.
I mean, in a league with this high-profile playmakers,
they're just not there.
You are where you are.
You are where you are. Yeah. Though, again, fortunately for you, you're in the weak side of the playoffs, so you're only 1 game out right now. So there's still plenty of room to go up.
Plenty.
And I believe next week is a game between you and Jose, both on our side. So that's going to be a big one. That could have potential large playoff implications. So we'll see. See what happens.
Win.
Now coming in at 6th is another person new to this spot who probably doesn't know what this feels like, but it's Arias. Arias finally had a week where he didn't just score high and then get absolutely dunked on. So that was good.
Solid week.
With Jackson getting 0 and without Ridley, he still won by over 30 points. So that's just good.
Even with some below average performers, Marquise Brown pulling in a 6-piece.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Edmonds 11, which is extremely average. Everyone else though.
Mm-hmm. Everyone else is good. But speaking of running backs, Arias, it is not looking good, pal. Jackson, Edmonds, Le'Veon Bell, and Devin Singletary. The receivers and the other parts of your team are good, but without some better running backs, I don't know. To get a playoff spot in your division, it's going to be tough.
I would sooner bet that Phillip Rivers utters a legitimate cuss word than Nyheim Hines becomes a top 3 fantasy scoring running back in the next decade. So,
I'm not taking that bet. I'm not taking.
Not
right, no, I would take that bet. I would. Yes, I would take that bet. Absolutely. So I don't know. Maybe I think you're past the point where you can shop Lamar based on name. That was probably 4 weeks ago. Or Bell based on name. That was a while ago. So I don't know. Maybe you get lucky a bit, but try to make some moves if I was you.
This might be early to call, but it looks like Lamar is turning into the guy that we all said he might.
It is.
Top running quarterback, but through the air, extremely average.
Yeah. I think he's averaging like 200 some yards a game, which just sucks.
Yeah, not a good look for the franchise guy.
It's not. It is not. Well, good luck, RS. You're gonna need it. All right. 5th spot here. Again, somebody else who's new to this spot, and I don't think he's been this low yet, is Jose. I don't think he's been out of the top 3 since the league started, but now the slide is continuing. That's a 5-game skid for Jose after going 4-0. And this week, he actually did good this week. His opponent, me, just happened to score better.
A lot of duds in this lineup.
What's that?
A lot of duds in this lineup.
A lot of duds.
And Lockett, which is uncharacteristic of him. Robert Tonyan is the number 1 fantasy tight end. Is not a good look. 1.5 points out of him. Some questionable decision making here. Jerry Jeudy out of flex though, 25 points. That was a good call.
That was a good call. Well, I can say Jose, I think he had the points on the bench to beat me. No, not quite. Almost. If he had played Hunter Henry and McKissick, but not quite. But yeah, bad things in terms of McCaffrey. Looks like he might be hurt more. I applaud the optimism of keeping Kittle in your IR spot, but I don't think he's coming back.
Fantasy will be over before he's back.
Yeah, I think so. Or at least the playoffs will have started. Jeudy is a bit of a question mark. Yeah, he finally had a breakout game, but it was against the Falcons. So does that really count?
Questionable this season up until this point. So I would still say not a viable flex. So this maybe a wide receiver 4 in deep, if it's, it's a deep league.
Yeah. Yeah, and the bench just isn't looking very encouraging either. You are still very much in it, though, seeing as, again, you're on the crappy side of the bracket and are only 1 game out. So your game against Tom this week is very important. I should have looked at who was projected to win. I don't know. But those don't matter anyway. So we'll see what happens. Again, I think you got screwed by you did too good in the beginning and then couldn't make any waiver claims. So you missed out on all those players. So we'll see. Let's move up to 4th place here. Again, somebody who has never been this high and doesn't honestly know what they're doing there. And that one would be me. Not totally sure how we got here, but hey, we are here. It feels like my team perennially underperforms, but we're here somehow.
There was either stellar or a dud this week for you, buddy. You got 61 out of Mahomes. You got 20 out of AJ Brown. You got 24 out of McLaurin, and then a couple of duds. Not a whole lot. The only I would say average Antonio Gibson, 12.5 points. You were carried by a couple big names, especially Mahomes, but you know what?
Well,
you got.
So funny you should say that. I did the math. From those top 3, Mahomes, Brown, and McLaurin, I got 68% of my points from them. So that is not a strategy for long-term success right there, I tell you what.
Does the math check out?
In this case, it did, but I don't want it to have to, especially when Mahomes is on bye next week.
You could get lucky, though. If Derrick Henry gets hot and goes on a run here, you might be in decent shape.
I did. I made the mistake. I don't know why. I think because you suggested it. I played Antonio Brown over Robbie Anderson.
That was on me.
but I mean, yeah. It seems like the curse of him lives on as well.
Maybe on the Washington football team, having Alex One-Leg Smith back there, having that veteran presence at quarterback might spur some more production out of Terry McLaurin. Having a guy who can make the adjustments at the line and call the protections that might be in your favor moving forward.
Call the projections, see a wide open streak, and then dump it off to McKissick.
But yeah, he saw it.
So I have Ryan next week without Mahomes, and we already know Ryan can be a spoiler, and it could be a trap game for me. So I'm a bit nervous. The real point of this is this message is going out directly to Rodrigo Blankenship. I know you're watching, but you got to step it up. I was your biggest fan all through the week. I had you in the college league. You were my guy, and it's just you got to step it up, bud.
And you're performing.
Got to step it up.
Can I offer a piece of advice, Rodrigo? Buddy, kick the ball better.
What did you think of that? Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I think I can make the playoffs. If the playoffs were to start today, I would play you, and God help me, I would not want to do that. So
I caught a haymaker from Ryan a couple weeks back.
You did.
What, I'm not ready for that one.
So we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun going forward, at least. All right, third place, we got Randall. I think he's been here before. This one's normal. Yeah, two of the best scoring quarterbacks this week. But actually, here's what I wrote down. I hope you enjoyed your bye week, because that's basically what this was. Outside of Murray, you had nothing. Most of your players were single digits, and one was -3, which
1.6 points out of David Johnson.
I think he got injured. I think he got concussed. But I just want to know the thought process. The 49ers are completely decimated. They're playing one of the best offenses in the league. Their offense and defense, they have injuries, and you thought to play their defense. I just have questions.
As a Pittsburgh Steelers fan who watched that entire game against the Dallas Cowboys,
I'm so sorry.
Watch James Conner struggle and watch that whole offense struggle. I don't know if I'd play him again, buddy. I tell you what, that was a gimme. That was a cupcake game, and it came down to the last play.
I was gonna ask, as a Steelers fan, what's your outlook for Connor rest of the season?
You know, I know thus far his fantasy numbers have been solid.
They have.
But he's one of these guys where I just feel like, and I'm a James Conner fan. I love his story. I love the perseverance. I love the struggle and the triumph of making it into the league. But I tell you what, this is a contract year for him, and I don't know that the way he's played warrants a big running back contract. And I don't know that he's going to take a smaller one. Anthony McFarland's coming. You know, he's waiting in the wings. He's a quick one cut back. We haven't had one of those since Fast Willie. So I don't know, man. James Conner, if you're watching, be looking over your shoulder. You want to step it up. You want to get out of the weight room a little bit. Work on your footwork, work on some speed, because you've had some open runs this season. You usually get run down, buddy.
And so that could be a problem for Randall then. If Connor doesn't perform, Zeke is already looking just meh since Dak went out. And then if David Johnson's injured or up and down, who knows? Still rostering 2 kickers, which is, I guess, I actually took that strategy. I have 2 kickers now, and I'm in the top 4, so I guess it works. It works.
I don't want to backtrack too much here, but let's double back to Zeke real quick if we can.
Okay, yes, sir.
I think whoever stopped feeding Zeke should probably feed Zeke, because I think that might have something to do with this fantasy production. And I think the Dallas Cowboys wall-to-wall are done, but someone needs to feed Zeke. He's hungry.
For Randall's sake, I hope so. As an Eagles fan, I am enjoying it.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on. Number 2 here. We have Neil. Neil, I don't know if Neil's been this high either. He's been close, but never in 2. Neil is leading the West Division at a whopping 5-4. To tell you what our division's like. Now, Neil, unlike the Bears, you actually seem like the real deal, possibly. Your team overall is looking solid. I said it before. I've said it every week. I'll say it again. I still can't believe that Will Fuller is actually still healthy and hasn't been injured yet. But he's balling out, especially getting better with Watson. Even your bench had good – everybody who wasn't on bye scored good on your bench. Josh Jacobs has been – I own him somewhere. He's been a bit of a disappointment, but still solid. Not necessarily the RB1 you drafted him to be, but still a solid back.
Looking good for Drew Brees again, having Michael Thomas back in the lineup. Didn't have a stellar game himself, but drawing that coverage opens up the rest of the field. So you might be riding a hot streak from Drew Brees here, back half of the year.
Brees will get about 25-yard slants a game. And, Thomas might just turn one of them into a big game. Who knows?
Yeah, 180-yard streak, and you're made in the shade.
Yeah. So, and you got Lazard comeback deal. As much as I wanted to say bad things about your team, I just can't. think especially in our division, I think you're in a good position to make the playoffs. So
Solid bench.
all right. Well, Steve, we have to do it. I don't want to do it, but we have to go to the number one team.
Let me hear it.
Which for the 9th week in a row, it is still you. Devontae Adams continues to get 14 touchdowns a game, even when he's the only option on that offense besides a one-legged Aaron Jones, and teams just still don't feel the need to cover him.
He's that good.
You even had what for him would be a down week for Kamara at 16 points. Still scored 175. Still had the highest score in the week. So
another good week out of Brandon Cooks. He might be heating up.
He is heating up, he's also not injured, which is crazy. Yeah, looking back at his last 4 weeks, lowest score was 13, but the others were 30, 21. He's looking solid. Your bench is also very good. Your bench almost outscored Dave this week. It was very close, just by less than 1 point. Or sorry, slightly over 1 point, less than 2 points. You lost to him.
Very good.
So yeah, but here's the thing: you are not in the playoffs yet. Now we have the matchup of the week next week. You against Nate. You win, you go to the playoffs. Nate is out of the playoffs.
Juggernaut versus Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm. Nate wins. He is still in the hunt. So it is all the cards are on the table here. Could we have a Dallas-Pittsburgh game between you two next week?
God, I hope not.
Oh, I do. If those manage to be your 2 losses to Ryan and Nate. Man, well, I don't think it's going to happen. I want it to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
You know what? No, I didn't think Ryan would get me either, but
this is a trap game.
He pulled every trick out of the bag, pulled every punch, fought for every yard, and gosh darn it, he did it. And you know what? I'll be upset about it till the day they put me 6 feet under. But you know what? I'm winning this league.
I believe you had a speech like that similar to Ryan, pre-Ryan. So I'm going to do it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to call an upset of the week here. Nate is beating Steve next week, and the playoffs are up in the air for one more round.
Anyone who's in this league listening, on the trade block, send me your offers. I will move John Brown. I will move MVS, and I will move Zach Moss. Send me your offers. They're on the block.
Take all of them for Young Hoku.
Deal.
Nailed it. All right. Well, Steve, that's all we got for this week. Appreciate you joining me, sir.
Happy to be here. You went way over your time. I'll have my agent bill you. It's probably not going to be cheap.
I will, when in 20 years, when I have that money, I'll send it your way. Don't you worry. So yeah, guys, waivers run next week. Waivers run tonight. Looking at the wire, there's not much out there, honestly. It's I don't know. It just looks weird.
Yeah, we're pretty picked over at this point in the league.
Yeah, like there's some options, but I mean nothing with any decent consistency.
You're chasing points at this point in the waiver wire.
Yep. So, and as well, good luck teams this week. Good luck to your fantasy teams, and as always, fuck you, Spanos. And we are out.
We did it!
We did it!